What I focus on determines my success. This sounds like a simple, maybe a bold statement, but why is it that some things that we focus on can be so easy, whereas others can be so difficult? Now, some of the easy things I've focused on in my life over the years, if I reflect backwards, is I remember, first of all, swinging a baseball bat. I remember playing softball and being told, if I just swing the bat, and as I do that, first of all, focus on the ball, I would be fine and I would hit the ball and play the game. Other times I focus, I might be driving my car, right? I'm thinking about the traffic lights, I'm looking at the traffic around me, but I'm really focused on where I'm going, and it seems so simple and easy. But when we talk about focusing on what we want to achieve in our life, what does that look like? And why is that so difficult? So I drew this diagram here. This is me. I'll just say that's where I am today. And then over here, this larger stick figure, I'll just call that the best version of myself. So what if I focus on success such as I want to be a public speaker, or I want to be a famous author, or I want to earn more income this year in my business, let's just say. So as we focus on these goals and this being the best version of myself, it can be pretty simple to just visualize and think about where we want to go. But then what happens? What happens is we can get pulled backwards by what? By our own thought habits. So I'm going to apply this to at least 3 areas in my life where I know I have experienced some self-sabotage. And maybe these are tips that you could also use in your life as well. So the number one way I have found self-sabotage happening when I'm trying to be the best version of myself is expectations. Now, expectations might be anything from, I should have gotten that degree, or I should have moved, or I should have taken that job offer, or I should have, a house with a white picket fence and 4 children, and the list goes on and on. But when we have expectations, we think our life should look like this, but it looks like something completely different. There's always going to be that gap between where I am right now, where I want to be, and there's this, I call it the happiness gap that goes between both of those. So ask yourself, do I have unrealistic expectations that I'm setting for myself? The second way that I've seen self-sabotage happening is by forgetting to be in the now. What is the now? Well, the now simply means I'm living in this moment. I'm not worried about the future. I'm not worried about the past, but I'm in this moment. What typically happens though is we dwell on the past, right? The past. Maybe it's going through a divorce. Maybe it's getting fired from a job. Maybe it's from a huge financial loss. Maybe it was a decision I made to invest in something that ended up completely blowing up. But whatever it might be is when we are continuously thinking about the past as a burden, as on something we can't change and trying to rewrite it, we just know that's not going to happen. It's impossible to change the past. And the last way that we can self-sabotage that I have experienced in my life is also by doing this, by setting way too many focuses and way too many goals. Now, I call this the phenomena of doing versus being. And I remember this because in the past, I remember every January I'd sit down and write a list like this long of all my goals I want to achieve. And then by the end of the year, guess what? I didn't achieve all of them. Well, this year I did something completely different. I chose just 4 goals I'm going to focus on, and I think I can achieve those 4 goals. So that way at the end of the year, if I accomplish more beyond that, that's great. And I do the same thing on a daily basis. I focus on 6 things each day I want to accomplish instead of 6, 12, 20. I make it 6. So if I want to summarize this, here's what I'll say to all of you is that number 1, focus on being the best version of myself means number 1, I'm living in this moment. Number 2, I'm looking at my past experiences as gifts, as opportunities in disguise. What did I learn from those experiences? How does it make me a better person? Now, I'm someone who's been in a different relationship or 2, and I will say this, I now know the ideal partner I want to be with based on some of the relationships I was in the past that didn't work out. So I look at that as an opportunity to embrace the now.